Hello, what's going on? Welcome everybody to a special event we're having tonight. As always, I'm here with our trusted sidekick, the GOAT.
What
Got
happened?
caught off guard. I was in depth actually working on TGS stuff during the intro. I had a couple spreadsheets open. I was working on some great smoke stuff, and I'm like, I didn't even realize the music fucking stopped playing.
So
Woo!
it's timeline time, right? It's,
Bro, timeline time, raffle prize time, timeline. Oh, bartender order real quick.
so I guess it's just us while he gets his drink, but we're used to that around here, right, folks? I'm calling a double of Belvini 14. Double of
That's
Belvini.
exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. So, yeah, man. I mean, I got Stoner on my back. He wants to have a meeting to go over it. So, there's an all-nighter in my very near future. Probably Monday next week, Tuesday next week. It's the only time I could work on it. There's no way I could work on that project during the day.
Yeah, no,
Too
it's
many,
one of those things. It's one of those things you got to shut down for a few hours and not be bothered.
few hours. Last year, it took me, I think, 18, 22
Yeah,
hours.
but I mean, do you really need to? Does it? I don't think it'll.
It'll take a minimum of 14, 15 hours of work, easy. I mean, the frame out's there, but I had the frame out there last year. I mean, we got to add stuff in, beard shaving, and stuff. It's a little bit of
We got to
stuff.
get there. We got to get there. We got to get
I
there.
looked at it last night. We're still $2,500 away.
2,500 away from shaving Bradley Rubenstein.
So if you're listening and you haven't made a donation, make a $10, $15 donation. We have it. Where is the? I don't even know where the link is anymore. We might.
I posted it recently on the Smoke In page, so it's not far down there.
Yeah, as we're raising money for the Girls and Boys Club of Broward County, and if we hit the $10,000 mark, Bradley Rubin will go up on the main stage during the Great Smoke, and let one of our barbers literally shave his epic mustache. I guess is the best way to call it. Epic mustache on stage live for the world to see and everybody at the Great Smoke. So very, very cool. This is an interesting background we got going on here today.
This is I was actually sent to me by Derek from Black Label. This is the art, which I love. This is the art for the Neon Tiger, which is one of the cigars one of the boxes will be raffling off tonight. I'll be interested to hear about the cigar. I haven't had it, haven't seen it. Literally, the first box I saw was this one, and it's I like the art. I like it. I like the box.
I saw it here in the office. What it was. So yeah, this is it.
Yeah, so this is an exclusive of theirs.
Wait, hold that up a little. Are you hiding it, or you flashed it?
I mean, I'd like to hide it. I'd like to hide it and put it in my stash. Is what I'd like.
There you go. Factory exclusive. Neon Tiger.
Con edition.
There you go.
So we have a special guest, someone who's new to us. This is always a fun time because I don't know too much about the brand, and we get to have a conversation with James Brown of Black Label Trading Company. Let's bring him in. James, what's up, brother?
Welcome, James.
How's it going, guys?
How's everything?
Thanks for having me.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
was that coming in clear for you?
A little bit he chopped up, but he's all right.
Okay.
He's not glitchy now. So, Black Label Trading Company, Blackwork Studios. Fairly new to us, but you guys have been around for a while.
Correct.
Texas
Yeah,
company?
we're going. We're based out of Texas. So we also have the factory side as well, Fabrico Veja Negra. So I personally live in Nicaragua full time, running the factory, but our business is based out of Texas. We kind of started in Texas. But yeah, we've been around, Black Label's having their 10-year anniversary this year. So we're super excited about that.
Now, you moved to Nicaragua to basically run the factory, yeah?
Correct. Yeah.
Historically, it's done by multiple people I know in the business. Jonathan Drew was one of those guys, or Nick Melillo. I just can't fathom what it was like for you to say. How long you been living in Nicaragua now?
About 9 years in Nicaragua. But I think my situation is a little bit different because my wife and we haven't lived in the U.S. for the last 20 years. So we've kind of lived all around Latin America. So Nicaragua for us wasn't like a big stretch or it wasn't crazy different from what we'd already been doing.
So Oveja Negra is the factory.
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
And so you have Black Label Trading Company, Blackworks Studios, which is obviously both coming out of the same factory, both under the same umbrella.
Yeah, so kind of the story behind the brands, kind of the difference between the brands is when we started in 2013, we started with Black Label, and kind of the idea was to, within Black Label, we wanted it to be kind of something for everybody, and for lack of a better description between the two, I would say Black Label is the more mainstream in terms of profiles, vitolas, things like that. And then when we started the factory in 2015, I kind of wanted to do a brand that really highlighted the artisanal qualities of cigar making. So that's kind of where Blackworks Studios came from. We treat the factory very much like a studio space. It's all about creativity and, developing new things. And through that, we came out with the cigar, the Killer Bee, which has a linear cap on it, the Green Hornet, which also has a linear cap, the Tiger series, like the box you were holding up. All of these cigars really highlight the artisanal qualities of cigar making. And also with Blackworks Studios, we kind of gear more towards like the cigar nerd in terms of vitola sizes, things like that. Most of the stuff we do in Blackworks is only available in 1, maybe 2 vitolas. So it's really a kind of a smaller, kind of the boutique within the boutique, I guess, is a way to describe it.
But you're the proprietor of both those companies.
That's correct. Yes.
So it's basically just 2 separate entities under the same hat.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of, under Oveja Negra, not only the factory, but we also have Oveja Negra brands, which encompasses Black Label, Blackworks, Emilio cigars, and also Dissident cigars, which are all made within our factory, and then we distribute them together under Oveja Negra brands.
But Emilio and Dissident are 2 separate entities.
Exactly.
Right. Sometimes, even myself in the business, sometimes I get lost on it's like the Island Gym thing. I think it's 3 years down the road, and we might just be figuring out the whole relationship in that whole scenario.
That's
between
true,
Oscar Valderas, OV Cigars, Island Gym. It's like it's confusing to us, and we're in the business. Wow, this is a great cigar.
It is. These little guys, these Killer Bees, they pack a punch, but they're very good. They're very good, and they last too. They last for smaller sticks.
Yeah, so, I mean, and it's an interesting cigar because it really that cigar really put Blackworks on the map. It really took off. Not only because it has really good curb appeal, but also the linear cap's super cool, and the profile I think it's a very intense cigar for the size. And honestly, like 10 years down the road, I'm still shocked that we have a Petite Corona as our #1 selling SKU. So, which I think is really cool.
Right, absolutely. That's
James,
definitely not something a lot of people can say.
What was your background before getting in the business?
So I came in the business a little bit differently. I had worked as a sommelier for a lot of years, and I kind of got really introduced into cigars through that. I worked for a restaurant in Tucson, Arizona called Anthony's and the Catalinas. And the owner, Anthony, also owned a chain of cigar stores, Anthony's Cigar Stores in Tucson. And so he kind of got me into cigars and kind of showed me. I had smoked on and off, before then, but I wasn't like an enthusiast. And he kind of opened my eyes into what cigars could be. And so fast forward many years later, after doing several other things, found myself in Latin America and spending a lot of time in Nicaragua. And at that point, I hadn't lived in the States for a long time. So I was smoking cigars, but I didn't know anybody in the industry. I didn't have like a group of cigar friends. I didn't follow cigars online, things like that. But I started spending time in Esteli and really wanted to learn as much as I could about this process, and so I was fascinated by the manufacturing side, the growing side, the processing. And what I found was when I was smoking tobaccos and trying things in Nicaragua, at that point, there seemed to be a pretty big disconnect between what I was tasting in Nicaragua and what I was picking up in a cigar shop in the States. I was missing that kind of gritty intensity that I was really loving from Nicaraguan tobacco. And, the more that I was learning about tobacco blending, the more that I was seeing the factory side of things, it kind of opened my eyes to, the idea that things could be done a little bit different. And so that's, kind of the point where I decided to give this a shot. And so I approached it much differently. Like I said, I had no kind of outside influence from anything in the US. And, the business side of it, as far as the brand in the States, was definitely, a huge learning curve for me. I started very small, kind of figured I'm from Texas, so let me start there. And, I was just knocking on people's, cigar shops like a vacuum cleaner salesman, like, please try my cigar, please try my cigar.
Sure.
And, that's just how it went. But I think ultimately it was kind of good because I think, in a sense, ignorance is bliss, since I didn't know a lot about the industry and I didn't know a lot about what it took to make it in this business. I think that, just going for it and, doing it my way and not being influenced from the outside was, super helpful.
Sure. You get to kind of make your own path without any outside influence. Absolutely. Who does your art? Is that you have somebody in house? I mean, all of your art is unique and excellent, and you can see you guys really take the time to.
I do, yeah. Yeah, I do all the art for everything.
Wow.
And it's kind of, yeah. I mean, the artwork in a cigar is very important to me. I feel like every cigar has kind of a feel to it, a style to it. And I feel like I like the artwork to really kind of reflect what I get out of the cigar. So, I like every cigar to tell a story. And so I like for them to be very unique and interesting. And I like to do stuff that you don't really see, in the industry and kind of a different approach to the branding of cigars.
Sure, absolutely.
Alex, we got a question from Peter Jones. Actually, this is interesting. None of our live streams ever exist anywhere other than being live, or they do still stay up.
No,
there?
they do. If you go to our YouTube channel, Smoking, which I assume you're on watching this, and you click over to the lives tab on YouTube, you'll see all the previous live streams that we've done.
There you go. I wasn't sure about that.
So, you've been in Nicaragua for 10 years, and distribution is out of Texas?
Distribution is actually out of New Jersey. Yeah, our business is based out of Texas, but we do all of our distribution out of Jersey. Yeah.
Texas is like it's like the breeding ground of boutique. I mean, like, real, true, small, and it's cool when you see these Texas brands kind of break out. And
I had a conversation with a guy at Trade Show a couple years ago. Texas is like a microverse of the cigar culture industry within itself. Things that happen in Texas isn't reflective across the country. Because I had a guy who was telling me their brand is huge in Texas, but he's struggling to get in other parts of the country. And that's kind of like that Texas thing. Texas has that thing that things can just get popular in Texas, and it doesn't spread as easily. So it's very commendable that you've managed to have your brand break out of that, because I actually know a few companies that kind of stuck in that mold.
Yeah. I mean, it is, man. I mean, I think, people ask me all the time, like, okay, like 10 years in, like, what's the hardest thing, And honestly, like, the hardest thing is just still getting people to, recognize the product, try the product, bring in the product, And I think a lot of people, coming into this, starting brands, and they just don't realize how difficult that aspect of the business is. I mean, the competition is huge, and you're out there hustling all the time. Still, even 10 years in, 15 years in, it's still a hustle, where you're trying to continue to build and grow and reach new people. So it's tough. Yeah.
Competition is huge. Shelf space is scarce. I see it all the time, so I totally know what you're talking about, and it's probably
Yeah, and it's something that comes back to the branding, like we were talking about. There's not many industries where your product is within inches or feet of anywhere from 200 to 1,500 of your closest competitors. You know what I mean? In a very small
right.
space. So you for the most part, if you're not taking the approach that your branding has to be on point. I mean, you got to give people a reason to want to pick up the cigar and try the cigar, and then the cigar is what's going to bring them back to it again. But in the beginning, you really got to get them interested in what you're doing visually, to pick it up.
As a company, do you recall, or do you feel, or do you remember any moment or something that felt like the breakout moment for your brand?
Yeah, so I think when we started in 2013, we were manufacturing with another factory, and like a lot of brands, things just didn't go the way they were supposed to. We ended up with a lot of product that wasn't what it was supposed to be, that we literally couldn't sell. And as a very, very small company at that point, we were kind of had to say to ourselves, like, look, we're either done or we have to be all in and do this ourselves. And so at that point is when we decided, that we need to be all in and do the factory and own every step of the process. And I think that really changed a lot for us. It gave us the freedom to do exactly what we wanted, to produce the cigars that we wanted. And so 2015 is when we started the factory. And then in 2016, we released a cigar called the Bishop's Blend, which really kind of blew up for us. And we launched it at the trade show that year. And that's when we really saw a very huge uptick in people paying attention to the brand. And really, at that point we went from, us contacting retailers trying to open accounts to retailers coming to us and wanting to find out, what we were all about and that. So that was kind of the moment there for us. And I think that cigar is really what kind of put us out there to the masses.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it was a continued progression of consumers. Look, you can't bring in everything a customer asks you for, because you get that all the time. Oh, you guys can, but more and more as we see it and we hear it, and more consumers are kind of asking and wondering, and we see that it picks up traction. That's when it makes sense for us. So, again, credit to you guys.
Yeah, and I think we were really fortunate because when we started, it was kind of like the beginning, a lot of the like cigar social media, you know what I mean? And we were really fortunate that early on, people kind of picked up on our brand, even when it wasn't available really anywhere. It developed kind of this cult following online, and, people were posting it in all the groups and talking about it. And it's really cool that is continued, and we hear that all the time from retailers is like, I haven't really heard of your product or your brand, but I see it in all the cigar groups. I see people smoking it everywhere, So, I mean, that's our customers, our consumers. I mean, it's been huge what they've done for us through social media and really pushing the brand for retailers to carry it.
It's extra tricky when you're a company of our size, especially with brands of your size. What we have to navigate and always find out when we bring in new brands, and it's hard, is not just what is the reach or the growth in your company? Because especially if you're brand new and you just got out, it's great. But when you're a company like yours, you've been out for 8 or 9 years, and we're looking to get on the train now, unless we feel that our audience, the people who really patronize and follow us, have some kind of interest, we're too late to the game. Because if we pick up a line, the culture you've already built and the people you've already built are buying it from wherever they're buying it now. and they're not going to stop buying it there and buy it from us just so we carry it. So it's really hard when you get to our size where we have so many brands. It's a lot easier, I think, when you're a smaller boutique brand, but when you have as many brands as we do, it's really tough to figure out what to bring in because it's something so boutique and so small. There's not a big enough following, and there's not growth fast enough to say, hey, people will find it. So one of two things: we either have to hope our customers or our patrons like the brand and get on board the brand. We'll do our best to get it in their hands, or in the situation like with you guys is we saw them smoking it. We see pictures or them sharing photos of cigars, and we know that they're not getting it from us because we don't have it. I mean, I wish there was a world where we, I think every retailer does, where you can say, hey, I'm just going to have a, 300 square foot warehouse and carry everything and try to sell to everybody, but you can't do that. So I'm happy you finally got in the shop, James, and we're enjoying it as a staff, and I think our consumers are enjoying it. So
that's great. No, that's great to hear. I mean, I love to hear that, that people are seeing that, and the people out there smoking and posting it. I mean, it does definitely make an impact.
Yeah, you have a ground level following. I have a question from Dan. Dan wants to know, when do the Morphine Lanceros hit?
Morphine is a limited release for us, and kind of how our limiteds work is we never do a one and done, so they're annual releases, which means normally they'll come out once a year. But now that we've gotten to the point where we have a very large portfolio of limited stuff, some of this kind of skips a year. So Morphine just came out late 2022. So that's not going to be back again until 2024.
Now, on your projects like that, do you make an X number of production and you then allocate them, or do you take pre-orders and let retailers, get what they need and produce to quantity?
No, because we have to let, with the specific tobaccos we work with our limited stuff, it's kind of, that's going to dictate what the production is. So what we do is we produce what we produce, and then we have to allocate it to the different retailers.
It's funny. I could probably spend the entire time here. The questions are flying. When's the Lizard King coming back? When's the Smoke coming back? But again, credit to you. You really have a ground level following, people looking forward to these releases.
Yeah, I mean, I will just say, some of people's favorites aren't coming back this year. Reason being is this is the Black Label 10-year anniversary. So, even though you're not going to get Morphine and you're not going to get some of the regular limited stuff, the stuff that you are going to get for the limited is going to be all, very cool new stuff that's going to be focused around the 10-year anniversary of Black Label. So
you always get a every now and then.
That's not a weird question. It's not a weird question because I noticed that in looking at the Black Label group, James is kind of a sneakerhead. James is I can tell.
Yes.
James is a sneakerhead.
I am, for sure.
So it's actually not an offbeat question. I was going to bring that up.
Skip wants to know what you're wearing.
I'm just chilling at the house, so I'm wearing the Salim Bembry Crocs, which are kind of a new release that I'm excited about.
So about how big is the shoe collection?
I haven't counted in a little while, but it's constantly in a process of growing. If I had to estimate, probably 300, 350 pairs.
Where do you put 300 pairs of shoes? I got 15 or 20. I can't fit them in my walk-in.
Yeah, so my office is kind of all shoes, and then I have a small space for my desk and computer. So
listen, bro,
it's literally stacked up, stacks of boxes on the floor.
Oh, so you don't have on display one pair at a time. You just got them in boxes.
I have both, yeah. So I've got shelves that are full, and then I got just floor stacks. Yeah.
Wow.
But I can tell you by looking at some of the shoes that he posted, these are the kind of shoes that worst case scenario in a financial jam, he could get his money back as fast as you can sell stocks with some of those.
All right. So now you got me on a tangent. I'm not going to go deep on it, but I have to go on it. All right. So most expensive shoes you've paid for?
Like $7,000.
Okay. What was $7,000 if you don't mind I ask? 'Cause I'm shoe
It's
ignorant. I wear size 16 quadruple E with a huge instep. So like,
yeah.
as much as I like shoes, I just live a life of, can I find one that fits, and then I have to buy it. So I don't
Gotcha.
have the glory of getting into shoes, but what was worth was that the selling price, or was that some rare thing you found and had to buy at auction or something?
No, it's it's a very rare pair of shoes. I mean, I own shoes that are worth more than that, but that's
Well,
the
that was
highest
my
I've
second
paid.
question. Don't jump the gun. That was my second question.
Oh,
So
okay.
what did you get? So what was it that you paid $7,000 for?
It's a collaboration between Nike and a company called Cactus Plant Flea Market, and it was a Swarovski crystal dunk in like this green color. It was a friends and family pair, so they only made like 200 pairs or something. And you couldn't buy it.
Alex, are you googling this? Are you googling this? Because I want to see this shoe.
Yes. So I mean,
Nike and Cactus.
look, listen. Even at $7,000, right? Even at $7,000, he's up $875 right now. That's what I'm saying. You know, so
is that the shoe?
That's the shoe.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Now I'm just gonna assume these are shoes you never put on.
It depends. I've worn these.
You have worn them.
I mean, my thing is like, man, you only live once. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to look at, but it's even cooler to, you got to walk in somewhere and be able to flex it, right? Like,
wow. Okay, now second question: what's the most valuable shoe that you currently own today?
probably right around like 35,000.
Jesus Christ! And what is that?
It was the collab that Nike did with Louis Vuitton, and it's the graffiti mid pair. So yeah, that one is kind of value would be right around there because I have a size, like I wear a size 13, 14, and I have that in a size 14, which they only made like maybe 2 or 3 pairs in that size. So it's a very, very, very rare shoe.
Wow. I'm gonna go home and start Googling shoe stuff now. I mean, I knew they were collecting. I didn't realize how deep it got. Holy cow!
Is that this one?
Yes.
Holy cow! $35,000 shoe.
You can get it for 23 on StockX right now.
Yeah, but that's 9.
What size though?
Yeah, yes. He said the 14
9.5.
are rare. Go to 14.
You got to bid on it.
Hey. So what was the shoe that you stole? Got, like, you can't believe how you got it, like, at the price you got it.
There's kind of been a couple pairs. I mean, the thing with sneakers is like you always try to get something at retail, even though it's extremely difficult these days, sometimes virtually impossible, but you always try. And so, I mean, sometimes it works out. I mean, like that shoe that we were just talking about, I actually was able to buy direct from Louis at retail.
Really?
Which was still a very expensive shoe at retail, but when you
Right.
look at the resale value, I mean, that's probably the biggest financial gain in that regard. So.
Wow. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Retail. So you paid like 3,500.
Yeah.
So like literally, like I said, I mean, these things perform better than stocks.
He just said that's his biggest scorer,
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Alex has got the numbers ready.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing is it's a lot of investment, but it's kind of like you were saying, like you don't really lose. You know what I mean? Like anytime I would want to liquidate anything, I can liquidate it.
Right,
you know?
right. Financial jam.
I mean, everything's in such high demand. It's like, yeah.
No, it's a big market, man. It is a big market. I see some of the clips on YouTube, the sneaker con type.
Oh, it's huge, man. It's huge.
Yeah.
Do you go to any of those conventions?
I have not. No, and it sucks because I've been in the States, been in the city where it's supposed to happen, but it's like either the day before or day after I leave. And then they just added in Vegas during PCA. And so I couldn't really break away, from the booth to go. My partners wouldn't be too happy if I was like, nah, I'm going to go look at sneakers. So,
I'll be over here for a while.
yeah.
Let's give something away. They're getting.
That's Derek. Derek is I assume is national sales manager?
He is, yeah. He's also a partner in the brand as well. So.
Oh, there you go. All right.
So,
well, we have. Go ahead, Alex.
We do have stuff to give away, but I want to get a little info on these. So this is the Royalty Black,
Yeah.
right? And is this an exclusive size?
It's actually just an exclusive cigar, so you can't physically buy that cigar. The only way to get it is to go to a Black Label event, and that's going to be the free product you get with your purchase. So that's probably one of the most rare cigars we do, just because you can't buy it.
So that's equivalent to your Nike Louis Vuitton shoe.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's you gotta be there. You gotta buy something else, and then that's what you get.
And so, Neon Tiger is a running line. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
And this is the Shere Khan.
Exactly. Yeah.
How many?
Yeah. The Tiger series is something that I wanted to do. Like when you see the cigar, you'll see the work that goes into it. So it's extremely intricate. The Khan is actually probably the most difficult cigar that we make. So not only is it 4 different wrappers with the spiral, it's got a candela closed foot. It has a triple cap with 3 different tobacco wrappers, and it also has a pigtail. So it's a very complex cigar. But the entire Tiger series I wanted to do as something for people that actually took that next step and came to do the factory tours with us in Nicaragua. So that cigar was only available to them until last year when we decided to release it as an event exclusive for the Year of the Tiger. So that was the only time it was available in the U.S. for sale, was at our events for last year. So yeah, another very rare cigar, hard to get.
All right, folks, Derek's getting antsy, so I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to finish getting your orders in. Then I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to start pulling names. We're going to raffle some stuff off.
Did your experience and being a part of the shoe culture and seeing how that worked, did that influence you how you come down to release limited edition and lines for your company?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think that the thing with anything, right, is it has to be sought after. It has to be hard to get. It has to be limited release, and a lot of our stuff, like I said, I mean, it's just limited by nature, just due to the amount of tobacco we have to make it. But you got to build that hype around it. You got to build it up. You got to do this to get that. And that's kind of the way that it's worked with our stuff. And it's cool to see. I see a lot of our stuff, especially the Tiger series, on secondary markets all the time. So it's kind of cool to see that aspect in cigars also. People trading and reselling and all that.
How does a consumer sign up for one of your tours? How does it work? Is it through the retailer, or how does that work?
You can contact your retailer, but we also have the info on our website, so vejanegrabrands.com. We do 3 to 4 tours a year, and they're limited through January to March. So that's the growing season here in Nicaragua. So, we want you to be able to see tobacco in the ground, see tobacco in the curing barns. So that's the timeline. And the tours typically run Tuesday through Saturday. And group sizes vary anywhere. The smallest groups we've done have been like 6 people all the way up to 10 to 12 people. So tours this year are full, but we are taking reservations for tours next year.
And how deep in March do you go?
It depends. We're pretty open. Like this year, we have 2 tours in March, so it's basically going to take up, most of March. So, really, it's like tobacco's still out there even into April, so we can go all the way to the end of March, and you're still going to be fine.
So, Alex.
And the thing with our tours is go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Finish, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, what we try to do is, yes, it's about our factory, but we're also, we don't like keep you in a hotel, whatever. Like, we go out to eat every night. We go to lunch every day. We try to make it as much about Esteli and the Esteli cigar culture as it is about, our factory.
So, Alex, I got another little project to add on your long to-do list of things. Let's figure out for next March, since the Great Smoke is going back to February next year, let's figure out how we could do a promotion, take some of our top black works or black label customers on a tour with the GOAT.
Okay, I'm in. You ain't gotta.
Put that together. Put that together. Because I know Daniel Lemus will bug me about it until I do it anyway. So.
Right.
That wasn't it. There you go. That was it.
Dan is a hardcore black label smoker.
So, yeah, we will put something together for next March to take our best black label Black Works consumers down to tour their factory in Esteli with the GOAT. You heard it here first. There you go. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
I love that. Sounds great. Sounds like we got work to do. All right, well, folks, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to give some shit away.
He's bummed he didn't get to do TGS. I don't know, pal. TGS isn't. There was another first-time vendor this year, and I literally told him, "Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me. You're not ready. Don't do it." And he's huffing and puffing. He's huffing, puffing, heavy wind right now. Heavy wind. But we'll be happy to talk to you guys about it next year if you're interested, without a doubt. It's become a monstrosity, the Great Smoke. It really has.
Yeah, no. Love to have you guys there.
All right. Are we ready for this, Alex?
I am ready. I am ready to give some shit away.
All right. Let's go. The Wheel of Joy. That's what I call it. The Wheel of Joy.
All right. So we're giving away a total of 4 prizes. We have first 3 10-packs. We were going to split these up into 5, but we said, you know what? Let's make 3 people happy. Going to get a nice stash. You're going to get 10 of these. Can't get them. Event only. Black label. Royalty. Black. I have 3 of these to give away. And let's take it to the wheel. Abe, can you write?
Yep, I got you.
All right, so we got a nice hefty wheel here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ground level, man. The consumers wanted it. So here we go. First winner for a 10-pack.
Brandon Bruins.
Brandon Bruins. Congratulations.
Bruins. Congratulations, Brandon.
Congrats. All right, moving on to the next 10-pack.
So, Paja, you're showing your age, girl.
No way. Michael Zakabek. Congratulations, Michael.
I tell you what, a lot of new names.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on. Zakabek, got it.
All right, and for the final 10-pack.
Oh, wow.
Pays to play. It
Pays to play.
play. So, Brandon Bruins get himself a 20-pack.
Wow. Pays to play. There you
All right,
go.
so real quick, I want to pull this down. So, for the grand prize, we have not only this box of Neon Tiger Con Edition, but also this sick ashtray that I love.
This is really impressive.
It
It's
really
got-
is, man.
It's got some weight.
Not light. It's got weight. Like I said, it feels like it's almost wood. It's high quality, heavy duty resin. And I mean the art, that's impressive. Like I said it before the show. These can't be cheap to make.
Now,
So-
we give away the box of cigars and the ashtray?
Nope.
No,
Yes.
ashtray.
No. Somebody's getting them both.
Okay,
Grand
so it's one prize. Okay.
Grand prize. Somebody's getting them both. Somebody's coming up big here.
Nice.
All right, here we go. Back to the wheel. Let's do it.
Ron Nectar.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, John. We get these prizes out to you next week, early next week, probably Monday. Good stuff. James, I just want to thank you for just sharing your Friday night with us and many of our consumers and fans, and getting to know a little bit more about you and learning a little bit about the shoe game. So I'm a little bit more literate on the shoe game now.
Man, no, I appreciate it.
I have 4 kids, and my oldest she's like, I think, already in the shoe game. Like, I mean,
Probably. Yeah.
I grew up, man. I got 3 pairs of shoes a year. I mean, and it's only because I wore the sole out. So I didn't have that luxury, But my daughter's like, "Okay, I just bought you a pair of shoes." No, but these are new. It's like, and we're debating about this, but she's into that culture very, very much. So
Yeah, be careful, man.
I know. Believe me, I know. Now, great stuff, and thanks for everybody who participated in the 5-pack frenzy with Blackworks. It was a great way to bring them on board to smoke in, and we will set something up. Daniel, don't bother me until after the Great Smoke. I'm telling you right now. But we'll get something up after the Great Smoke. We will figure out some promotion to take some of the top customers who support Blackworks and Black Label, and we will somehow figure out how to take those people on a tour with the GOAT to Esteli, Nicaragua. The GOAT, where he might see a lot of actual goats in Esteli.
True. Yeah. No, I appreciate. I appreciate you guys having me on. I appreciate the support of the brand. It's awesome. It's great to see. I'm glad to hear it's doing good for you guys. So we're very excited. So.
All right.
Will we see you in Vegas next week? Or
No, we don't do the TPE.
Gotcha.
It's really hard enough for me to get away to go to one show, and I haven't really found the need to be at the TPA. In fact, I was accidentally in Vegas one year for my parents' 50th anniversary. My dad wanted my wife and I to, because it was just coming off of COVID and they didn't do anything. So he was going to take my mom to Vegas. So he asked my wife and I to come up with him. We said, sure. And I didn't know, but it actually landed in the week of TPE. So I'm trying to sneak around Vegas and not make any posts and not tell anybody I'm in Vegas, because I know I'll
Right.
TPE thing. But we will see you at the PCA. If we don't see you before then, we'll definitely see you there this
Great.
year. And don't forget to join us for a fun-filled best way to start every Saturday with KMA Talk Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Facebook Live or YouTube, Smoke In, and we'll be there. Anything else I need to put on the radar, Alex?
No, man, I think that's it. Good night. And I'm sure there'll be plenty to do next week.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great weekend. James, thank you very much, sir. Remember,
Thank you,
from all
guys.
of us to all of you, have a great weekend. Peace out. Keep it lit.